Today, we're going over the correct way you should be dealing with any kind of injury. Now, there are two categories of injuries in my playbook. There is the functional injury, where you tear your hamstring, and if you kick with that leg again, it's going to get worse. That is functional, that muscle can no longer function. Then there are bitch injuries, where you got hit on the nose and you got some tears and you're just being weak. So obviously, if you have the latter one and it's a bruise or it's a Charlie horse, then you just keep training through it. However, I want to address the other side. I want to address the functional injuries. How do you deal with these properly? Some people say rest, etc. Now, you should always listen to your doctor, but I would recommend for your doctor, see if you can go to a sports doctor who does combat sports, because the normal doctor is going to tell you rest it for 2 weeks, ice it. That's what happens every single time. But if you're with a sports therapist, they're going to tell you more precisely about how you should treat the injury. Now, you want to do the rehab to fix it, you want to ice, etc. Do whatever your doctor is telling you to do. However, it doesn't mean you get to sit out of training, because there's other things to work on. A lot of my weapons in Taekwondo that I've used and I brought to the international game were developed on days that I got injured. So, for example, I have both left and a right hand punch for Taekwondo. The left hand punch was developed because I tore and dislocated my right shoulder for a little bit. So I could only punch with my left hand. So I'd show up to training, do all the kicks. My hand was just like this the whole time. And I learned to punch and rotate my body correctly for Taekwondo using that. Same thing with my left leg. When I tore my right hamstring, I just used my left leg multiple times every day. And I kept trying to keep up with everyone who wasn't injured. So eventually, right when I got out of that, I had a monster left leg round kick. So when you're injured, think about what can I functionally not do anymore? I'm assuming you're in this functional zone. What can I no longer do anymore? And disregard that. And think about what else you need to work on and work on that instead. Don't sit out of practice. Don't just skip trainings. Think about what else you can work on. And for those of us who have graduated from training, from fighting, etc., what does this mean? Well, if you're like me and you tried to pick up a weight today and your back spasmed for whatever reason, that means, oh, if I can't lift, that means I can do other things. That's time where I can spend more time reading, because now maybe I can't lift, so I have to sit. So I can read more, or I can work on my stuff for YouTube, or I can get through more of my YouTube modules and classes. Whatever it is, don't use your functional injury as an excuse to just sit down and do nothing. There's always more things to do. There are always more things to improve on. And you should be using that time as a sign to go, oh, maybe I've been doing this a little bit too much. I'll do a little bit more of this to improve and more well around my game or my life. See you guys tomorrow.